Hello everyone. So today is an update about CRO or crypto.com, both the exchange and the mobile app. So I had posted detailed videos about the mobile app in episode 7.2 and about the exchange benefits in episode 8. So there are some questions about an event called a Supercharger event. I've explained about Syndicate, and I want to explain more about the Syndicate with one more example, probably just to better understand the full benefits of it. Also about the Supercharger event, some people have asked me to clarify about the Supercharger event. So I have quantified the Supercharger event again with benefits as well, and just a comparison to say what is the actual benefit of participating in the Supercharger by putting the CRO currency. CRO is basically the native currency of the exchange crypto.com. And I've explained about the native currencies of exchange, how they have done and what the benefits are in those episodes in 7.2 and 8. Also, when I explained about the mobile app, I explained why it was one of my favorite mobile apps and why I was actually buying CRO in the first place. And the most important reason was to get the card, the Visa card, which is like a cashback card. I mean, pretty much apart from almost government transactions, any transaction that you do with that Visa card, it's basically a prepaid debit card. You get a 3%, 5%, depending upon the tier that you are in, you can get a cashback out of it, which then translates into a larger value over a period of time because of cashback that you get from every transaction, basically. And if you live in a country like, especially in UK, Europe, US, Australia, Singapore, Canada, they are now shipping cards to all of these countries. But when I explained it in October, pretty much you could stake like $100 worth of cryptocurrency and you can get the Visa card pretty easily. I mean, there was a long waiting time of 2 to 3 months. So I explained it in that as well. But they pretty much, made it like almost more expensive by increasing the staking limit. And I'll explain what it was. But now they're going to make it even more expensive. On the 18th of January, from this Monday onwards, they're going to make it even more expensive to get a Visa card. So they're making it more and more difficult to get the Visa card for new applicants who are going to try and get the Visa card. For people who already have it, they can continue to use it within the same requirement. They don't have to stake more. But for anybody who's trying to get a new card, if you're considering it, if you're in one of those countries, then they're going to make it even more difficult after the 18th. So if you're in a dilemma to decide, if you've looked at my episode 7.2, and if you're in a dilemma to decide, that you probably have another couple of days before it becomes too expensive. And again, all of my videos is basically only to explain the process. Nothing is financial advice. I am not an expert in giving financial advice. All I'm basically doing is explaining that there is a provision like this, there is a option that is available, and it's up to you to make the choice. Again, on the same token, we are in a bit of a bull run. A lot of currencies are doing really well. They are going on a great run. I even tweeted how LRC is about 200% up, Link is about 100% up, Zap is almost 100% up. Most of the currencies that I tweeted explained in episode 2, they've done phenomenally well. In the last 2 to 3 months, they've done almost more than 100%. Even when I tweet about some of the coins, they have done well as well. The reason they are doing well is because, not because I am an expert in predicting the prices. I'm definitely not an expert in predicting the prices, and I'm definitely not someone who can read charts or price predictions or anything like that. The reason they're doing well is because there is a real team behind it. The technical effort that the team is putting in is the only reason all these cryptos are doing well. So when the blockchain has got a real use case, there is a real technical team behind it, and they're a strong technical team. That's the reason I invest in those cryptos, and that is what I'm counting on, that they will take it further, they will take it to the next level. And that's one of the reasons why those cryptos are doing well. So, obviously I cannot be, looking at all of the cryptos. There are several cryptos which do well apart from these as well, and I cannot be looking at all of these cryptos. So I kind of selected, 10 or 12 cryptos which I feel comfortable with the technical team that is sitting behind it. That's how I choose my cryptos. One suggestion that I always have said is that, do not put a lot of money into crypto. Make sure that you invest only what you can afford to keep there because of the volatility. But because we are in a bull run, it's even more important that you keep a liquidated position. What I mean by liquidated position is, if you made profits, take 20 or 30% of the profits and keep it as liquidity that you are able to survive if there is a dip, or if there is a crash, or if there is a mini crash, or if it's just a dip. Your liquidated position, if you're converted to, let's say, a stable currency, your liquidated position will allow you to buy a dip, and then you can make use of a dip. Otherwise, if you bought all of the if you've used up all of your money to buy the crypto that you wanted to invest in crypto, if you've already invested it in crypto, when there is a dip, you will not be able to make use of that opportunity. So consider keeping a small portion of it as liquidated stable coin, or whatever that you want to keep, whatever your strategy is. Consider keeping a little bit of that as liquidated position, so you're able to really use those dips and buy crypto back when there is a dip or when there is a mini crash. The CRO coin, the Crypto.com's own exchange coin, CRO coin, which is a cryptocurrency. When we posted the video in October, this was nearly about 10 cents in US dollar, and it had lost a lot of its value, and it fell down to nearly 50%. And by December, it was sitting around roughly about 5 cents, and almost half its value was lost during those 2 or 3 months. And I explained why, because of the interest rate reductions and whatever they were doing to stabilize the currency on a longer term. And then in the last month, in the last few days, in fact, it had actually increased steadily, and it reached up to nearly about 9 cents, about 42% jump. And now it has come down a bit, but overall in the last 1 month, it's gained about 30% back. And that's the importance of exchange coins. Exchange coins always have the potential to bounce back, because the exchange is working really hard to create value for these cryptocurrencies. And all of the exchange coins, if the exchange is doing well, if the exchange is having a lot of customer base, they can always bounce back, and they can always bring a lot of programs, a lot of options that can help improve the value of the cryptocurrency. Also, when a bull run happens, generally the exchange coins do well. And Binance is a great example. The Binance own cryptocurrency is called BNB, Binance Coin. And when the bull run was happening in 2018, 2019, it was doing well actually, when all the cryptos were doing well. And middle of 2019, actually it was sitting around $40. It was doing really well. And it had a small decline from that point. And roughly around when coronavirus started, it kind of crashed to the bottom of the value, about $10 in the last couple of years. It was the lowest point that it had reached. So almost it had lost 75% of the 75% to 80% of the value. From $40, it crashed down to about $10. But because it was an exchange coin, because it was a crypto exchange, it was only a matter of time when all of the other cryptos do well, when Bitcoin does well, when all of the other cryptos do well, it will also be doing well. And now it is setting roughly around $44, which is probably one of the $41, $42. It has practically reached its peak from 2019, and it has even exceeded it. So when it had lost $75, 75%, that was probably a good time to buy it. And when exchange coins have a dip, it's probably worth buying, because they have always the ability to bounce back unless and until the exchange is going to get closed. Now, switching back to the Crypto.com Visa card, when we made the video originally, the Visa card requirement, the staking requirements was very, very lesser. It was probably about starting with about 1000 CRO. You would remember, you can get the red card or the ruby card, and the blue card was always free. And for the Jade coin card, it was about 10,000 CRO. They made it about 2.5 times expensive by making the CRO coin, the red card, as 2,500 and the green card as 25,000, and they made it 2.5 times more expensive. And I had quantified the benefits in my episode 7, saying that how you can get Netflix for free, how you can get Spotify for free, how you can get 3% cash back, all of the quantified benefits I explained. 18th of January, what they're going to do is they're going to make it even more expensive. They're basically going to double all of the staking requirements. So when they had made it 2.5 times in October, end of October, now they're going to make it double, which means that it's going to be really like 5 times more expensive than what it was in October. So obviously the CRO price is down, so it's not exactly the same amount in monetary terms. So if you had spent about $100, for example, before October, now you will be probably spending about $400 for an equivalent card right now. But if you consider going for a card, probably this is a time where you could get it, you could stake it and you can apply for it cheaper, and that staking limit will remain forever. So that's how they're going to change it. So the blue is obviously not going to change, but if you're going to go for a ruby steel, for example, and you get a $25 bonus, obviously you don't get a $50 bonus anymore for any staking level, but you get a $25 bonus. And if you want to do it, I'll give you the link for it still, but do it only for if you're going to have the Visa card. Without the Visa card, the $25 bonus doesn't actually give a big return of value. Earlier, you were able to get like $100 if you spend, you get $50 bonus, which was 50% bonus nearly. Now, if you spend like nearly $400, you get $25, which is next to nothing actually from a bonus perspective. But if you're going to go for the card, if we are thinking of it earlier, and if you are in two minds, then probably you have another couple of days until 18th of January before you decide whether you want to go for it or not. Again, you do not be pressurized by it. Use it only if you intend to have the card and use it and to get the cash back. Otherwise, I wouldn't advise you to go for it, especially if you are living in a country where the cards are not getting issued, like India, for example. At the moment, there is no plan for the Visa card. It could come in the future, but at the moment there is no plan. So probably not beneficial enough to go for the staking, because staking is like I said, it's a fixed deposit. You cannot withdraw it for 6 months. And even after 6 months, if you withdraw it and if you have a Visa card, then you will lose the staking benefit. So what I'm done is I've basically put in my staking. I'm not going to withdraw it for after 6 months as well. So my staking tier will remain the same. I don't need to increase my staking. Whatever 1,000 CRO or 10,000 CRO that I have staked, I'm just going to keep it in the staking and use the Visa card. And I'm going to get benefit out of getting the cash back from the Visa card. That's how I'm going to use it. So this is basically for a comparison in case people were wondering and people were interested in the Visa card option. Now, before we talk about Supercharger, I want to explain something about the syndication. So there is a correlation between the Supercharger and syndication. So I'll start with the recent syndication event, which was ZIL. So I explained about syndication in my episode 8, where you can get 50% discount for buying a crypto. And that is through CRO. You stake CRO, you become eligible for getting the syndication. You're allocated a certain portion of it, and if you can basically buy it at a 50% discount. What you are allocated is dependent on how much CRO you have staked and how much CRO you have submitted it. And it happens over a period of about roughly 7 or 8 days. And I explained what could happen in the first video, but this scenario is slightly different. I subscribed with about 34,000 CRO, which is roughly equivalent to $2,000 of CRO. And you can see that that is eligibility differs based on how much CRO you have staked. So I was eligible to apply for about $2,000 because I had 50,000 CRO staked. So earlier I had 10,000 CRO staked in the exchange version. Now I have increased it to 50,000. So I'm able to apply with a 2,000 CRO or $2,000 equivalent of CRO. So I put 34,000 CRO at that point when it was about roughly 0.058 cents. And the CRO dollar value that I had to ultimately use to buy the crypto at a 50% discount was about $52, because I had to spend about 900 CRO. Rest of it got refunded back to me. So I submitted about 34,000 CRO, of which 33,100 CRO came back to me. I spent about 900 CRO, which was worth about $52. Now, for this $52, what I should have got is about, on the 15th of December when I applied for it, the price was 32.03 cents for the ZIL currency, ZILKIA currency. I didn't know much about the ZILKIA currency at this point. So I wouldn't have actually bought it unless and until for this syndication event. So the free value that I should have got for my $52 was the equivalent amount, $52. But when the event ended on 23rd of December, when I actually got the ZILKIA currency or the ZILKIA crypto, the value had increased to about 0.05 cents. So it had gone up significantly by that point of time. But because of the fact that the values are frozen on 15th of December, when I submit my syndication application, so I still got the crypto at the original value of 0.03 pence, which means I got nearly $121 worth of crypto free. For $52 I'm spending, I got nearly about $120 worth of crypto free. So you can see that on the 15th it was about 3 cents, and it gradually increased. On the 23rd, it had actually significantly grown up. You can see it, And even on 27th, it continued to grow actually. So it didn't even stop on 23rd. So had I not sold it on 23rd, which I didn't sell, and I kept it for another 4 days, let's assume that $50 that I had spent now has given me nearly $278 worth of free crypto. And that's how the syndication event works. I mean, you would probably end up buying a crypto at a discount anyway, but if the value of that crypto also goes up, ZIL, for example, in this case went up from 3 cents to about 9 cents, 300% roughly. And because of that, my $50 is now worth nearly, it is giving me an additionally free currency of $278. So that's the profit that I had got if I had sold it on the 27th of December. Now, assuming I don't sell it, I didn't sell it and I just kept it the Zilkia currency. Even today, the value is around $197. Obviously, when I made this video, the example, it was roughly around 7 cents on 10th of January, and it was about $197. So that's the advantage of syndication events. The main purpose of having that CRO in the crypto.com exchange is to be able to participate in these syndication events. So even if there's only once per month, that's roughly about, even at a base price of $53, it's about $600. And if it is 2 syndication events, then 1,200, and roughly about 2.5 syndicate events on an average that happens today, it's about $1,600. Even at the base price, you get $50 worth of, roughly $50 to $60 worth of value. And if it increases in value, like 3 or 4 times in this case, then you can obviously get a lot higher than this, depending upon the cryptocurrency that is being given in that syndication event. So that's the value of syndication events in crypto.com. If you use it effectively, you can easily make a lot of money by just participating in all of the syndication events to the full allocation that you can. So obviously, now it comes to the Supercharger. Now, what do you do when you are not participating in the syndication events? What do you do with the 30,000-40,000 of CRO that you have to hold in exchange? Because the benefit that you get of soft staking is only 2%. So there is a new event called Supercharger, where it's similar to syndication, but for 30 days, if you keep it in the Supercharger pool, the next 30 days, they will evenly divide something based on your allocation, based on your submission, and they will spread out the allocation. But it's far lesser than the syndication. So I'll give you an example. I staked, it's based on the average CRO that you're supplying for the entire 30-day period or the entire month. How is the average calculated? So I'll give you 4 examples so you can easily understand what this average is. So you could basically set, put 3,000 CRO on the first day and just keep it for the 30 days, which means your average over 30 days is 3,000 CRO. Or I could keep the 3,000 CRO for the first 10 days, withdraw the 3,000 CRO from the Supercharger event. Next 10 days I keep nothing, which means that my CRO in the Supercharger is 0. The last 10 days I can keep double of it, 6,000, which means on an average over the 30-day period I've still kept 3,000 in the event, in the Supercharger event. So that's kind of another model where for 10 days in between I didn't keep anything. I participated only for about 20 days. Now you could even do that, you don't participate for the first 29 days, you keep 0, but on the last day you decide to put 90,000 CRO. You still end up with the same 3,000 CRO average. So you are treated equally to as if you had kept 3,000 CRO for the entire 30-day period. And alternatively, the other scenario is basically exact opposite, where only one day, the first day you put 90,000 CRO into it, and after that you withdrew it and you didn't participate after that for the whole of the month in the CRO. Your average still remains exactly the same 3,000. All of these 4 scenarios, your average will remain exactly the same. So by this token, I kept an average of about 12,000 CRO into the Supercharger event. And similar thing would have given me a lot more, but here they calculated my allocation as 0.0045%, which roughly gave me about $10 or $11 worth of crypto. And in this case, they gave me DOT. Obviously, if I had kept that DOT, that particular 2 DOT is worth a lot more today. But on that particular day when the DOT got allocated to me, or when in that particular month when the DOT got allocated to me, that was roughly about $11 or $10 worth of DOT that got allocated. And obviously that doesn't get allocated to me in one go like the syndication. It kind of gets spread out in the entire month, and by the end of 30 days I get the 2 DOT, which is basically about $11. So $11 is basically spread out across the 1 month period. roughly that's equivalent to about 10 to 12%, I would say. It varies depending on how many people are participating in the syndication event and all that, but the soft staking is obviously only 2%. So instead of keeping it in soft staking, or instead of keeping it in anything else, when you are not participating in those syndication events, the placeholder for keeping your CRO is basically the Supercharger event, where if people start participating lesser, then you will get more. If all of them start participating, obviously that percentage could come down, but still it's roughly around 10 to 12%, which is still a good return. In normal scenario, if somebody told you that if you keep it and you get 12%, that's a good return. That's what Supercharger is basically doing. So hopefully this video was useful to you. I mean, people had asked me for a comparison between the two, and that's why I just wanted to explain with monetary value, so it's better understandable. So until next time, thank you, bye.